Hello everyone, it's Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and today we are chatting through all of the books I read in February. For being a short month, February was a pretty great reading month, numbers-wise. And you know me, I love to chat about the stats, so let's jump right into that. Here are the stats for February. I read 17 books, which totaled to 5,930 pages. My average rating was a 4.32, which is absolutely phenomenal. I think I got, 7 5-stars. So check out the ratings table in the bottom left there. I got 7 5-stars, 1 4.5 star, 6 4 stars, 2 3.5 stars, 1 3-star, and 1 DNF. Just phenomenal. As far as series, because it's a goal to get through series this year, I started 6 series. Whoops. I continued 2 and I finished 1. So I definitely need to make some more progress in series this year because I started more than I finished in February. As far as where I got the books from, 76.5% or 13 of the books I read were already on my owned TBR, which is wonderful. And then 23.5% or 4 of the books I got from the library. Genre breakdown, we have 5 contemporary, 1 fantasy, 1 historical, 2 mystery, 2 nonfiction, 5 romance, and 1 sci-fi. All over the board, but you do see my top genres with contemporary and romance with 5 reads each. That kind of took the lead this month. And as far as format, I read 7 books physically and only physically with my eyeballs, and 10 of them I listened to on audio. So really fun numbers to look at this month. I love looking at the numbers. Now let's chat about the books, and I kind of have 3 different sections of books to talk to you about. The first set of books I read for my favorite booktubers favorites video that I put out in mid-February. I will link that video up above in the cards if you want to check it out. I won't talk about these books at length because I did in that video, but I'll still give you a brief synopsis and what I rated the book. The first on the stack here is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This was a favorite of Krista from Books and Jams, and this is just such a fun, cozy mystery about our main character, Vera. She owns a tea shop and lives a very regular life. She definitely has a routine that she sticks to every single day, except one day she wakes up, goes down into her tea shop, and finds a dead body, and she wants to solve the mystery herself. So she gets a list of suspects, interviews them, and just tries to figure out this murder, or what she thinks is a murder. It's hilarious. It's cute. I definitely want to continue on with the next book in the series that's coming out later this year, and I gave it 4 stars. Next up, I read Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is the second in the Chestnut Springs series, and loved it. Gave it 5 stars. Phenomenal. This was Katie Colson's favorite of last year, and I really have enjoyed these books so far in the series. We're following different brothers in the Eaton family and their relationships, their love interests. In this one, we follow Cade. He is a single father. He is in need of some help for the summer while he is working the ranch, and so he hires Willa to watch his 5-year-old son Luke. And at first, Willa and Cade do not get along, but then things happen and they get along more than you think. So it's just a really great romance. The steam is perfect in it for me. It might be a little much for some because it's pretty spicy. I don't do the chili pepper ratings, but it's pretty up there. And I love this series and can't wait to continue. Next up, I read Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is a cozy fantasy that took the internet by storm a couple years ago, I think. We are following our main character, Viv. She is an orc. She decides to get out of the normal battle scene that orcs normally are in, and she opens a coffee shop. People have no clue what coffee is, but she is trying to make it with her new business, and she hires whatever this gal is called. I can't think of her name. I see it in my brain, but it's not coming. Anyway, she hires this gal to work with her. She kind of makes this group of friends into family who help her with the shop, and it was just really sweet. I ended up giving it 4 stars, a fun, cozy time, and I think cozy fantasy might be for me. Another 5-star, friends, and another romance. I read Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. Oh, this is such a hard-hitting romance, but a phenomenal one as well. We are following Yasmin and Josiah. They got a divorce a couple of years ago, and they are still in each other's lives because they have children together and they own a business together. When they decide to branch out in their business and open another restaurant in a different location, they kind of start things up again, and they need to figure that out. What's that going to entail for their family, for their lives, and how will it move forward? So they have a lot of history in their past, a lot of trauma that they needed to work through maybe individually before they could do it together. And this one was heartbreaking and so good, and I loved the romance, loved the second chance romance, and definitely going to read the next books in this Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan. Here's one of the series I started, Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and this was my 4.5-star read of the month. This is a sci-fi that I feel like needs no explanation. We're following Darrow, who lives on Mars, and it's basically like Hunger Games on Mars. He needs to battle against other people to win this game that he is put into. It's a good book. It was really fun to listen to. I enjoyed it, and I will be continuing on with this series too. It's kind of like a series of trilogies, but anyway, the next one's Golden Sun, and I already have it up on Libby to listen to next. So yeah, super good about like fighting for who you are, where you came from, and what you believe in. And it's really high stakes and fun to read. Another 5-star read. Can you get a theme? I read a lot of 5-star books. This is The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. This should be no surprise that it's a 5-star for me because I give a lot of Kate Quinn's books 5-star. Historical books are some of my favorites, and so this one is no different. In this book, we are following our main character, Mila. Is that her name? Oh, I'm awesome. Mila. And she is a sniper for the Russian army. It's kind of unheard of for there to be a female sniper during World War II, but she is one, and she basically hits 100% of the time. A lot goes on in Mila's life. There's romance, there's conflict. She gets to go meet the President of the United States, which at the time is FDR. And she strikes up a friendship with Eleanor Roosevelt. The other part of this book is that there is a plan to assassinate FDR, and she is somehow involved. It was really, really fun. Again, high stakes in this one too. And the ending was just so thrilling that I had to read it super fast. It was a great historical fiction, and I definitely recommend you read this one or anything by Kate Quinn if you want strong female characters in the past. Kate Quinn also does phenomenal research with her books, like Mila Pavlichenko. Sorry, she was a real person, and so a lot of this is fact. But Kate Quinn, the way she weaves the story into the fact is just really, really amazing. So loved this one. 5 stars for sure. Another 5-star, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This one I'm sure you've seen around too. It has made its rounds. We are following an octopus and the people in his life. Marcellus is an octopus in an aquarium, and he interacts with a few different people in his life that he brings together in the most beautiful way. One of them is Tova, and she is grieving the loss of her husband and the loss of her son, and Marcellus helps her with that. She also gets connected to a young gentleman named, I don't know, Cameron, I think, and the way that they're connected is just very, very sweet, and love that Marcellus helps them connect in that way. So, super amazing book. Also made me shed a tear. I love it when a book makes me cry. So yes, this one was 5 stars also. Another booktuber favorite was 10 minutes, 38 seconds in This Strange World by Elif Shafak. And this one is a story that will stick with me for a long time. We follow this woman, why can't I think of her name? Layla. and she has been murdered. That happens even before the book starts. And we are in her brain for the next 10 minutes and 38 seconds after she dies. It's been researched and found that brain activity can continue on in someone's mind after death for up to 10 minutes and 38 seconds. And so we go minute by minute with Layla in her brain as to what happens after she dies. And it's just very, very intriguing and interesting. And the stories that she remembers in those 10 minutes and 38 seconds are ones that formed her. And so it's just very interesting to think if that happens to us after life, what stories will those be for me or for you or anyone? So yeah, very, very interesting. I did like the mind part better than the body or spirit. There were 3 sections in this book: mind, body, and spirit. The first, obviously, is we follow the mind of Layla, and then the body, what happens to her body after she dies, and her spirit after she dies. I just found the body part a little slow, and so that brought it down for me to a 4-star, but still a really interesting concept, and I am looking forward to trying other books by Elif Shafak. And the last in the favorite booktubers' favorites, but definitely not least, I read Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson, and I'm not going to say much besides just go read it. Wilkerson writes about the caste system in the United States and how we have one, and it's terrible and sad, and she gives us a call or what we should do about it. So yes, go read it. Really good. Or if you want to hear me talk about it for probably 15 minutes, check out my favorite booktubers' favorite vlog. I gave it 5 stars. The next set of books I read in my mini Deck of TBR-thon vlog, which was a week-long vlog, so I will link that one up above as well. So again, not going to talk too much about these in detail because you can check out that vlog if you are curious. So the first, well, not the first, but the first in this stack is Britt-Marie Was Here by Fredrik Backman. I love Fredrik Backman so much. He writes amazing characters, and just they have so much depth and wit. They just seem so real. So this one, Britt-Marie is getting a job, even though she's never had one really in her life. But she wants to get a job, and she moves to a small little town to work in a rec center type of place. She meets friends there and really falls in love with that location. But the main thing is she learns who she is and what she wants with her life. So yeah, I gave this one 5 stars. Loved it. And I think this is the last novel by Fredrik Backman that I needed to read. So I'm a completist in his novels. I read this one for a random read, and I completely randomized my physical TBR, and this was chosen. In order to complete a series, I read The Bride Test by Helen Wong. This is in her Kiss Quotient series. The one great thing about these romance books is she has neurodivergence representation. In this one, the gentleman has autism. His name is Kai, and he has never really been in a relationship, but his mother wants him to be in one. So she goes to Vietnam and kind of does this mail order bride and brings, why can't I think of her name? Esme to the US to try to fall in love with her son. And at first, it's a very contentious relationship, more so just we're in each other's lives, but then they start to get to know each other, and it is a very sweet romance. I really, really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. This is one that I DNF'd that week. It's called The Bookshop of Second Chances by Jackie Fraser. This was a random read, but I just couldn't get through it. I didn't like the main male characters. They were brothers, and the way they got revenge on each other was just kind of yucky for me. I go into spoilers in the vlog, so if you want to check it out, if you're interested, you can do so. But this one was definitely not for me. I think I DNF'd that 30% of the way in. In order to replace that book, I picked a different one. I got a random letter generator, and I got the letter J, so I used it for the author's name. This is The Boy from Clearwater, Book 1 by Yu Pei Yoon and Zhu Jian Jin. This is a graphic novel about a young boy who turns into a young man throughout this book, and he lives in Japanese-occupied Taiwan. So the first section is him going to school and learning that he loves to read and books and what he wants to do with his life. And then in the second part, he is a prisoner. So it was a good book. I read it in one sitting, as I can with most graphic novels. I will definitely finish this series out with book 2, maybe even in March, but I just didn't appreciate the telling more so than the showing. I feel like in a graphic novel, it should be more showing and storytelling because you have the medium of the pictures. But there were a lot of times when there was just like a chunk of text that it told us about like historically what was going on instead of showing us in the story. So that was my issue with it. I gave it 3.5 stars. Next up, I read Olympus, Texas by Stacey Swan. This was a poll pick and my patrons picked this one for me. This one I didn't enjoy, mostly because of the nonchalance about cheating the whole time. Everybody cheated on everyone, and there just was no repercussions to that. They just let it happen. We are following a family in Texas, the Briscoe family. One of the brothers is kind of like the prodigal son. He comes back to Olympus after he had to leave because he cheated with his brother's wife. Now that he's back, there are other issues. His dad's kids from another woman are having issues with accidentally killing someone. And it was like a car crash that I couldn't turn away from. I wanted to know what was going to happen, but it was also just kind of not a great book. So I gave it 3 stars. I had a discussion with my college friends. We read this for our book club. We call ourselves the Honeybee Book Club. And I should have realized, but didn't, that there's a lot of calls to Greek mythology, Olympus being one, and then like the matriarch and patriarch of the family are like Zeus and Hera, and they have all these kids, but Zeus cheats on Hera all the time. I didn't catch that at all. And it kind of makes it a little bit more interesting, but I still didn't enjoy the book anymore knowing that information. And lastly, from that week, I read The Favorites by Lane Fargo, and this was a favorite for sure. I gave it 5 stars. This is about 2 ice skaters, Heath and Kat. They have been training together since they were teenagers. They've been best friends and lovers since then, and it's their journey toward the Olympics. There is scandal. There is lots and lots going on. The thing I loved about this book was that it was written in like a documentary style. It reminded me a lot of Daisy Jones and the Six, and also Carrie Soto is back with the sports elements. People have likened this to Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing, and I definitely see those comparisons. Loved this one. It was so captivating and kept me on the edge of my seat. I finished it so quickly. It's like a 16-hour audiobook, and I read it in basically a day. So really, really phenomenal. I definitely would recommend you give it a try. But just a really, fun, captivating romance / historical fiction / contemporary. I don't know. It fits a lot of genres, but I loved the ice skating and the romance in it. So yes, The Favorites was a 5-star. Now, I just have 3 other books that I read, not for a vlog, although I think some of these were included in a vlog, because this one I read for my Patreon book club. So if you're in the diamonds or hearts tier of my Patreon, you would have seen a vlog of me reading this one, a spoilery vlog, reading Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, and this one was good. Definitely toxic relationship between BJ and Magnolia. People have compared their relationship to Chuck and Blair from Gossip Girl, and I definitely see some of those similarities. It's a bit different, but it was still a really good, addicting story. I couldn't put it down. I read this almost 500-page book in about 3 days. So in this one, we follow BJ and Magnolia. They were in a 6-year relationship, and then something happened that tore them apart. You'd think that thing would make them never want to see each other ever again, but they are still best friends. They are drawn to each other. They are meant to be. It's just they never admit it to each other that they still love each other. It's toxic. They hurt each other just to hurt each other, and they still draw one another in. It's I don't know. It's good. I gave it 4 stars. I'm not like as addicted as I feel like some people are with this couple so far, but I am going to continue on and try out Daisy Hates next and then see where that takes me with the rest of the Magnolia Parks universe. Then I read Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson. I did actually wrap this up in my weekend reading vlog from last week, but I will just say this is a beautiful romance about 2 Black people being in a relationship with one another and the world around them. It was tragic and had a lot to say about what it's like being a Black body in our world. The issues I had with it, it was just too like lyrical and poetic for me. I am a very plot-oriented person, I think. While I love characters and in-depth character studies, I still want there to be a plot, and there wasn't much plot going on here. The writing was beautiful, and I did appreciate it, but I just needed a little bit more to drive me forward. I gave it 3.5 stars because I still definitely appreciate what it had to say, and I'm going to try Caleb Azuma Nelson's other book. It's called Small Worlds, but I'm nervous that it will be very similar with the lyrical poetic writing, so we'll see. I'll give it a try. But yeah, if it sounds like it's something up your alley, I would definitely try it out. And the last book I finished in February was A Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Raybourn. This is the second in her Veronica Speedwell mystery series. Super fun. We follow Veronica and Stoker again, and I just love them and their banter and this slow burn romance that I know is going to come to fruition very soon. In this one, Veronica and Stoker are given the task to solve a murder from the Princess of Wales. She wants them to solve this. A gentleman has been accused of murdering his mistress, even though the princess knows he did not do it, but won't give them the alibi or the reason because it will just ruin him. Veronica and Stoker have a week to solve this mystery because in a week he will be hung for this murder. So it's kind of high stakes because they need to solve this murder quickly, and it's just so interesting the way they do it, the way they play off of each other. They're both very smart, and the way that they can solve mysteries together is super fun. So loved this mystery and definitely will continue on with the series very soon. So those are the 17 books. Can we get them in a stack? Like I said, it was just a really great reading month. I enjoyed almost everything that I read, like the lowest rating being a 3. What did I give a 3? Oh yeah, Olympus, Texas, which I thought about DNFing at some points, but I wanted to discuss it with my college friends, and I just, ooh, there go all the books. And I felt like it was a car crash that I just needed to know what was going on. Let me grab these books that fell on the floor. Oh, they're gonna drop, I know it. But here they are, the 17 books I read in February. Let me know if you have read any of them and what you thought of them. Did you agree with me? Did you not? As always, it would be great to have some bookish conversation with you down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.